welcome over to another episode of Financial 15. Lots of great information today. We're looking at what happy retirees do differently. We're looking at a bit of data, plus sharing some of our own stories working with retirees. Lots of great information. You definitely want to stick around.
Yeah, we spend our whole working life looking forward to becoming the retiree one day. And there are definitely differences between happy retirees and those that retire without some form of a plan in front of them. So what we want to do is look at that today. But again, for this video or any of the other ones, please go to our YouTube channel and subscribe. It's really simple, quick click, and you're there. Also, like us on Facebook. And most importantly, please visit our website at beckerorr.com. We have got blogs, we've got events, and we have got videos by the thousands out there. Well, okay, by the tens of hundreds. Anyways, what we're dealing with today is the happy retiree. How is it that we become happier in retirement by doing things slightly differently than, say, most of the other normal people? Clint, let's start off. What's one of the things that we need to do to be a happy retiree?
Yeah, we'll go right into tip number one here, which is stay healthy. And again, we're looking at some data for this, plus just general working with a number of retirees, things we've kind of filtered through that experience. And this one makes some sense, right? If what you want to do in retirement is, say, travel, you want to run around with the grandkids, whatever it is, you probably need to be healthy to do those things. So it makes sense to make health a priority. And I'll pull this up for you here, Kevin, as well. This is coming from a study from Merrill Lynch and AgeWave. They look at these retirement planning studies, and in their analysis, they said investing in health can be just as important to retirement happiness and even financial security as an investment portfolio. Often we get so caught up in the investment portfolio. The idea here to make your health a priority as well for a happy retirement.
Yeah, when they start talking about your money, you can't take it with you. That's something that you can deal with on the healthy side. I mean, you might as well spend it to maintain your health if you have to, because if you're not healthy, you can't do the things that you want in retirement. That's a big factor, as everybody says. You know, in the early part, you may want to travel, you may want to do a few more things. Yeah. If you're not as healthy going forward, you're not going to be able to get those sort of scenarios done. So you have to start looking after yourself now and continue to do that going forward. I mean, eating vegetables and fruits, things along those lines. We've encompassed a more healthy lifestyle. So we might as well start getting involved with that really quick. So yeah, maintaining your health, a big one. If you do that, you will definitely be happier than if you're stuck constantly hospitals or not feeling well going forward.
Yeah, it's diet and exercise there. And a couple of key points about the health side of things. We're not saying people have to be triathletes and go to that level, but the idea is just really just to keep moving and make health a priority, make it an important part of the routine. And like you mentioned, there's going to be different phases of retirement. And we've talked about this in other videos as well. That early phase, you could be doing a lot more activity. Perhaps your health will be better in the early years, and that'll be the time for that activity. And then perhaps in the latter years, you do a little less. That makes sense as well. In fact, that's quite common. So that healthy component will probably vary throughout retirement as well. So that was tip number one. If we look at number two here, another thing happy retirees do differently, they maintain social connections. I think this makes sense for social creatures. I think we learned that. One of the many things we learned throughout the pandemic, Kevin, is we need to maintain those social bonds. Would you agree?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We want to definitely be connected with other people. Let's remember, we spent 30 to 40 years of our lives working mostly with other people in a job of some format. You get those social connections. Not only do you have them at work, but you have them outside, friends, family. You get gatherings and get-togethers. We missed all of that in the pandemic, and you saw what the big strain was on mental health and things along those lines. So having that social connection, being able to get through that interaction really helps to keep you bound as it is. I mean, that's the big factor. And we've noticed it beforehand that 65 and older, those that don't get contact, you basically see them start to wither. As soon as they get, sort of 3 hours or more, there is a huge influx of better happiness, better health, everything else that goes on. So maintaining those social connections, whether they be online, which is one way, but if you can get them together and be interactive, that's a huge factor going forward. You agree?
Yeah, and everyone's going to have different numbers. You mentioned 3 hours there. That would make sense to have some level of social interaction on a daily basis. Some folks, perhaps it's just a gathering of friends once a week. Others, maybe they need lots more social activity. Everyone's going to be a little different, but the idea of maintaining those bonds is key. And you hit an important point. Often we get a lot of that interaction through work. We chat with our coworkers every day. We talk about TV shows, everything else going on in life. You make friends, and suddenly you're out of the workplace. It might be harder to maintain that same level of social engagement, but it's very important to do so, whether it's volunteering, maybe it's a part-time job, making a point stay in touch with friends and family. Maybe you're the coach on the grandkids soccer team, right? Whatever it is, it's finding a way to regularly force yourself into those social interactions, because maintaining those bonds is one of the keys to a happy retirement. We'll go through another one here, Kevin. And a similar idea here, right? You want to maintain your body to stay active, maintain the social connections, also maintain the mental capacity, right? Never stop learning.
Yeah. Don't they say healthy body, healthy mind sort of scenario? That's what you want to get at. This is where you want to be. And as we mentioned, I mean, the learning can be at a variety of different scenarios. So as we say in this statement, we've got challenging your brain with mental exercise. It's believed to activate the process to help the individual brain cells stimulate communication among them. So again, hobbies, volunteering, mentoring, there's a variety of ways that you continue to learn. And again, you don't just come to retirement and stop and I'm going to do nothing, I'm going to sit around. That's not good for you. You need to maintain that learning. Whether you're sitting at home doing Sudokus or crossword puzzles, or you're volunteering, you're out there, you're sharpening your mind. If you're part-time work, you're doing that as well. If you learn a new hobby or a new language, these are all things that will keep your mind sharp. And this is needed because there's more and more incidences of absent-minded stuff, of watching Alzheimer's and things along those lines come because there's not enough activity to keep the mind sharp. You need to keep your mind sharp, and that's constant, no matter whether it's early years, mid years, and as we know, late years especially, correct?
Yeah, I would agree. And the quote here is from the Health Beat newsletter from the Harvard Medical School, and they go through a couple of areas how people can keep the mind sharp. You might notice a trend here. Many activities in retirement can tick off a few of these boxes. If you're volunteering, for example, maybe it's one where you incorporate some physical exercise. So now you're staying healthy. You're doing so with other volunteers. So there's an element of social interaction. And maybe you're learning a new skill set as part of that role of a volunteer. So you're never stopping learning as well. Never stopping learning. That was an odd sentence. You're engaging your mind. You're maintaining that mental activity. That was the point. And we'll go on to another one here, a fourth one. And again, similar kind of idea, but having a clear sense of purpose. This isn't everybody, but certainly something we see in retirees, right? We get used to structure, we get used to a routine, everyone to a different degree, but often that work is a routine, right? You have certain hours of work, certain hours you don't work, you have vacation at certain times, holidays at a certain time, and suddenly it all gets thrown out the window. In retirement, it can be difficult. You need a reason to set the alarm clock. You need a reason to get going in the morning, and finding another routine, something else to provide that level of structure can be healthy and can be a great way to increase your happiness and contentment with retirement. And how you do that, there's lots of ways you can do that, right, Kevin? You can volunteer, you can spend more time with family, lots of ways you can add and find that structure.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, and that's a big thing that you need to do. I mean, let's remember, we've had a purpose for getting up, going to work, making sure we're paying the mortgage off, whatever the case may be. Everybody looks forward to that retirement base where they're saying, great, I have no more responsibility. I don't have to do anything. I can just lie back and sit and do nothing. Well, doing nothing can only last so long, because otherwise it's, well, if I don't have anything to do, then you're right. Why do I want to get up in the morning? So having that sort of routine going on, I'm up, I'm meeting the guys for coffee at such and such a place, or I'm golfing on such and such a day. There's a variety of different activities, but having that purpose each and every day for why you're doing these things, as you've mentioned, part-time work, volunteering, new hobbies, they will give you a sense to strive for something. And that makes you happier. Everybody wants some form of a goal to get to. This keeps that going forward. And it's definitely one of the ones that we need to deal with for happy retirement.
Absolutely. And again, everyone's going to be at varying degrees here. Some folks don't struggle with this at all. Others, perhaps they had a high level job, lots of responsibility. And suddenly when they retire, they're kind of at a loss for identity because they no longer have all the same kind of control and power they perhaps had in that prior role. So it could be a larger transition for them to find that new routine, find that new role, that new structure. But you hit on it in your answer a moment ago, though, Kevin. You said the magic word of the day, which was plan. And that's kind of the motto here with Becker Orr, is you need to have a plan for retirement on the financial side. Absolutely, that is important, but also on what you're going to be doing in retirement to stay healthy, to maintain those social connections, to keep your mind active. All of that can encompass your overall financial plan. So it's not just the financial items. It can also include all the emotional and the transitional items that come along with having an overall retirement plan.
Yes, the Becker Orr mantra works in all forms and all shapes of your life, no matter where you want to go. Emotional, personal, financial, having that plan is essential. Now, if you want to know more about having the plan and how to utilize it, please visit us when you get a chance. Chatwithclintonandkevin.com. We're more than happy to answer any of the questions you have on this or any of the other videos we put out there or anything we've got on our website. We want to be there to help deal with your wealth situation
Mhm.
going forward and maintain that sort of connection with you going and doing what we can to help you. Other than that, I think we've covered another scenario on how to make retirees happy. We will try and make everybody else happy down the line, but today it's strictly the retirees we're dealing with. Clint, any final comments?
We'll leave it there. Those are some good parting words, Kevin. Take care, everyone.